Before you skip this video, just think about this for a second. How many times in life have you rushed into something and later regretted it? Sometimes the problem is not that we don't have opportunities. The problem is that we don't have patience. In a quiet green forest where sunlight softly touched the leaves and the wind whispered through the tall old trees, there lived a young crow named Kira. His feathers were glossy black, catching flashes of blue and purple whenever the sunlight hit them just right. Kira was clever, fast, and full of curiosity, the kind of bird who noticed everything first and thought about it later. But he had one big weakness: on the teas. He hated waiting. If he saw food, he wanted it immediately. If he wanted to fly somewhere, he jumped without thinking. If something took time, he got frustrated and angry, pacing on his branch, ruffling his feathers until his patience simply ran out and he acted on impulse. The older animals often tried to guide him. A wise old owl would say, "Good things take time." A slow but patient tortoise would remind him, "Waiting makes you stronger." But Kira would just laugh and fly away. "Why should I wait?" he would say proudly, "when I can act fast and get everything instantly." One hot afternoon, while flying over the fields, Kira spotted something exciting. A farmer was spreading fresh seeds on the ground. "Food!" Kira shouted happily, his eyes lighting up at the sight of the golden grain scattered across the soil. But the farmer was still there, walking nearby, checking the rows carefully. Other birds sat quietly on a branch, watching and waiting. "Let's wait until he leaves," a small sparrow suggested calmly, her voice steady with experience, but Kira didn't listen. Without thinking, he flew down quickly and started pecking at the seeds. Suddenly, "Hey!" the farmer shouted loudly, spotting the bold young crow. Kira's heart jumped. The farmer rushed toward him, waving his arms. Kira panicked and flew away as fast as he could, feathers ruffled, heart pounding, wings shaking with fear. When he finally looked back from a safe distance, he saw something that made him feel even worse. The farmer had left the field, and now all the other birds were peacefully eating the seeds, calm and unhurried, exactly as the sparrow had said they would. Kira sat on a branch, embarrassed and a little ashamed. "If I had just waited, I could have eaten without any fear," he thought quietly to himself. But even after this, he didn't truly learn his lesson. A few days later, while flying near a pond, Kira saw a shiny piece of bread floating on the water. He loved bread more than almost anything. Without thinking twice, he quickly flew down to grab it, but the bread was floating far from the edge of the pond. Kira leaned forward further and further, stretching his wings for balance, and suddenly, splash! He fell straight into the water. His wings became heavy and wet, dragging him down. He struggled to stay afloat, panic filling his small body as the water pulled at his feathers. After a lot of effort, he finally managed to flap his way out, tired, weak, and trembling on the muddy bank. Nearby, a tall heron stood quietly in the shallow water, patient and still as a statue. The heron looked at him and said calmly, "I waited for the bread to come closer to me." And then, without any effort at all, the heron simply stepped forward and picked it up with ease. Kira sat silently on a rock, water dripping from his feathers, feeling smaller than he ever had. Once again, waiting would have saved him so much trouble. That evening, Kira felt something he had never truly felt before: regret, heavy and quiet, sitting in his chest. One day passed, then another. One evening, Kira was extremely hungry. He had not eaten anything the whole day, and his stomach ached with emptiness. He searched everywhere, flying from tree to tree, but found nothing. Then suddenly he saw a mango tree full of fruits, golden, beautiful, but still unripe. "They will become sweet in a few days," said a parrot sitting nearby, watching him with knowing eyes. "Just wait." Kira stared at the mangoes. His stomach growled loudly. His mind told him to eat immediately, to snatch one down no matter how sour it might taste. But then, something different happened inside him. For the first time, he remembered everything: the seeds, the angry farmer, the fear in his chest as he fled, the pond, the struggle, the cold water, the embarrassment of failing in front of the heron. He took a deep, slow breath. "Okay," he said softly to himself, almost surprised by his own words. "I will wait." Waiting was not easy. Every morning he looked at the mangoes, still green. Every afternoon, his hunger grew stronger, gnawing at him, tempting him to give in. Every night, he wondered if he should just give up and grab one anyway, unripe and sour as it might be. But this time, he didn't. He stayed. He watched the sun rise and set, painting the sky in soft oranges and pinks each day. He listened to the wind moving through the leaves and to the distant calls of other birds going about their busy lives. He saw squirrels dart across branches and clouds drift slowly overhead. And slowly, without even realizing it, something changed inside him. He became calmer, stronger, more patient. The frantic, rushing feeling that once controlled every decision began to fade, replaced by something steadier, a quiet trust that good things really were on their way, even if he couldn't see them yet. Then one morning, the air smelled sweet. The mangoes had turned bright yellow, hanging heavy and ripe on their branches. Kira gently pecked one open. It was soft, juicy, and incredibly sweet, the best thing he had ever tasted in his entire life. This time there was no fear, no rush, no regret, only peace and a quiet happiness that filled him completely. From that day on, Kira was no longer the same. When he saw food, he observed first before acting. When he wanted something, he waited, trusting that the right moment would come. When life slowed down around him, he stayed calm instead of fighting it. Other young birds began to notice the change and ask him, "How did you become so wise?" They gathered around his branch in the evenings now, the same way he once ignored the wise old owl and the patient tortoise. Kira would smile, settle onto his branch, and say, "I learned that waiting is not wasting time. It is preparing yourself for something better." If Kira's story taught you something today, remember this: the things worth having are usually worth waiting for. If this story gave you a little patience and peace today, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little more patience in their life. Thank you for watching.